Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with CircWorks. It's Friday. You know what that means? It's Fan Art Friday. Now, last Friday, I did this little guy, Twiggy from Buck Rogers, and I got a lot of positive response from it. So I'm going back to the well on 80s robots, and this week I'm doing Vincent from the Black Hole. So if you want to see me draw this, stay tuned. But if you have a favorite 80s robot or any kind of classic robot, let me know what you think, who you want me to draw. Maybe I'll draw it on the next Fan Art Friday. But yeah. Let's get to it. Let's get to drawing. All right, so here we go again, continuing our theme with classic robots from 80s sci-fi movies, and actually, I think the Black Hole came out in '79, so not exactly an 80s movie. Technically, but it was definitely in that area towards the end of the '70s. But yeah, a lot of people they kind of dismissed the Black Hole as sort of a Star Wars knockoff, or just kind of cashing in on Star Wars' success. But my understanding, it was actually in production before Star Wars was even released. And originally, I think the concept was that it was supposed to be like the Poseidon Adventure in space, which to me that would have made for a pretty cool story too. But and some of those elements are still in there. It's a pretty dark movie, and it's one that I would definitely recommend. And I've told a lot of people about it, and a lot of people that have watch it seem to really like it. It's the pacing, it's not super fast paced, but it does have action and everything. But it's just a really, I don't know, it's almost like a haunted house in space. The ship they land on, it's really cool. It's not, it's definitely not Aliens, but it's not Star Wars. It's kind of somewhere in between. It's got some kind of real just very haunting, themes to it and everything. But yeah, I would suggest it. And of course, so this character, Vincent, who, Vincent, what it stands for, like vital information necessary centralized. It's kind of a stretch there, some of these acronyms, because I think there's another robot that we meet later on in the movie called Old Bob, and he's I think Bob stands for Biosanitation Battalion or something. So it's, yeah, they stretch a little bit with the acronyms, but a pretty cool robot. And I mean, this movie has a lot of things going for it, and a lot of interesting, interesting history to it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing it as a kid, and I just thought it was awesome and everything. And it was, I guess I didn't really understand some of the themes and things so much when I was a kid, because it goes some dark places, especially like towards the end and the climax of the show, or the movie. But I don't. You might say that this character was developed as sort of like a comic relief, but not really. He wasn't. He's not really like, he kind of looks a little like R2-D2, but not, I mean, he's a short little robot or whatever, but not really. He's very usually kind of serious, and he's got, as you can see later on when I'm sketching this guy, he's like actually shoots like lasers and stuff, and that's not like a big part of him or anything, but yeah, you can see that right there. But yeah, he's voiced by Roddy McDowall, who, if you're a fan of like any of the original Planet of the Apes movie, he played about 3 different characters through that series. So so you probably know who he is, and he's been in tons of stuff. And but yeah, he like quotes almost like Confucius type things, and but he's almost, I would say he's a little, I would compare him a little more to like a Hal from a 2001, as far as he doesn't like go crazy and try to kill people, but he's definitely not like R2-D2. And I was when I was looking at the reference material to draw this character, I found one of the original, like some of the original production designs, and there was one that really looked kind of cool that you could tell. I'm sure once Star Wars did come out, they were probably like, well, let's make him a little cuter, more like a R2 style. Um, but yeah, some of these production design, the one that was kind of cool, it was more like a kind of a capsule shape, and he had all these arms and things that would move to perform all kind of functions and stuff. And I thought it was kind of cool. It's definitely that version definitely seems like it goes more in line with what the theme of the show is. But again, there are some parts where they try to lighten the mood with some of these characters and everything. But yeah, it's again, it's just one of those movies that I like to revisit from now and again. Not just like when I did last week's, I did Twiggy from Buck Rogers. That's one that I really haven't seen in a long time, and I probably will revisit it. But it's I know it does have it's got very much that kind of 70s early 80s vibe to it. This one this one really seems like it holds up as far as timelessness and things like that. And I mean, it definitely has its problems with the science and stuff, and black holes doing things that now we know black holes don't really do, or just some of the science and some of the there's some strange dialogue and things, but it's definitely worth watching. So yeah, I don't know, and I do like this. I like the robot design here. It's kind of cool. I did a while back. I did a version of this. I was just doing mashups. I was mashing up different characters together and everything, and I mashed Vincent up with R2D2, and I'll have to go find that and maybe post that or something. It kind of came out kind of cool. I was happy with it, but yeah, I thought I'd just come back and just do a straight version of just the way he kind of looks in the film. Of course, we've got the throw in the black hole background and everything. And the weird thing is I'm trying to as I'm narrating this, usually when I do these narrations, I've got it synced up to the video so I can see where in the drawing I am, and for some reason it's just like stopped, so I don't know exactly where I am, so I can't really comment on the video exactly as it's happening. I think right now we're probably in the inking stages, just according to like still images that are in my in my editing software, but yeah, so. Oh man. What else can I say about this? Yeah, definitely. I want to mention if you like movie scores. I mean, this one has a really kind of remarkable score to it. It's what's the guy's name? The composer, John Barry. Who, if you're a fan of James Bond, I mean, he scored a lot of the early James Bond movies, including just the classic James Bond. From the first film, that everyone knows, kind of when he walks across the screen, and it does have that. It's got. You can definitely tell it's the same composer just when you listen to it. But it's there's when I last time I don't own the movie, but I've got like Netflix DVDs, so I rent it from time to time. And last time I rented it, the copy I got actually had an overture in the beginning. So before the movie even started, it just basically says the Black Hole Overture, and it plays the whole theme song before the movie starts. And I don't know if that's how it was released in the theater, but it was really interesting because they definitely don't do that type of thing anymore. I mean now, you're just sitting through ads and commercials, but there was a time I think where they would play the music before you walk while you're sitting down before the movie starts and everything. So that was kind of interesting. Just different. But yeah, it's another one of those shows again. Like last time I talked about, I had the toys and everything, and I did have this particular toy, Vincent, and I thought I had Old Bob, but now I'm thinking that might be something that my mind was playing tricks on me, just because I've seen pictures of it. Because I guess that one was like super rare. Like there's not. I mean, I saw a set of like these rare ones on eBay. It was Old Bob, which is a robot similar to Vincent, but he's all banged up and everything. And it was Star, which is. They've got these basically robots, if you want to compare them to stormtroopers or whatever, their army of robots that are on the ship. they're all kind of red except for this one guy who's kind of the main guy, and his name was Star. I'm sure it stood for something something crazy as well. But yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, and then the humanoids who are when you watch the movie, you find a little more about them and everything, but they're also these kind of robot type guys that sit and work the controls. And so these three action figures, super rare. They were going for like $17,000 on eBay. So yeah, I don't think I actually had Old Bob, but I did have Vincent. And yeah, because I guess the movie, it wasn't a failure when it came out, but it wasn't. I think they were expecting it to be like like a Star Wars. This was a Disney movie, and I think Disney was hoping that this would just take off like Star Wars, and it didn't. But it was successful. I mean, I don't know. I think it was like a $20 million budget, and it made like 30 something million. So I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a $10 million investment. I don't know. That sounds good to me, but it wasn't. It just wasn't the success I think that they were hoping for. And but yeah, there are a lot of cool things about the movie. For instance, it was Disney's first PG movie, which is kind of hard to believe nowadays. But there was a time, when I was a kid, when I was little and everything, before this movie came out, where all Disney movies were G rated. Now you're hard pressed to find anything G rated, but and then in some of the stuff back then, I mean, I think you could get away with a little more, and especially like in a PG movie than you can now, and even in a G movie, than could be a G movie nowadays. But yeah, it was the first PG movie, and like I said, if you watch it, you can kind of see why, because there's some gruesome stuff. I mean, I don't want to give too much spoilers, but there's like disembowelment, and there's like there's just it's just some dark themes and things like that, stuff that you wouldn't see in like a Star Wars or whatever. And I think there's some language in it, nothing real bad or anything, but for a movie like this, it was kind of unexpected, like but especially for a Disney movie back then. But yeah, and it also, I think it sparked, because before that, just they're all G-rated movies, and after that, I think they kind of decided, well, maybe they had made a mistake and they should stick to, maybe not do as many adult theme movies. So what they did was that's what kind of launched like Touchstone Pictures and Hollywood Pictures and things, these offshoots of Disney where they can make these like adult comedies and everything and brand it in or something else. And now I think they've kind of gone back, because even movies that aren't like like a movie, say Pirates of the Caribbean nowadays, or even the Avengers movies that are like PG-13 or whatever, they're all branded as Disney. So I don't think they have the same same problems with that nowadays. But yeah, back then it was kind of a big deal. But yeah, I mean, I had the storybook and everything, and it was weird because I don't know if I may have got, you thinking back and your mind kind of like plays tricks on you, and you fills in the blanks and things. But I know I had the little LP that you would play, and it had the story and everything. But I don't know if I got that before I saw the movie. But I remember there's a couple of characters, specifically there's a couple characters that actually die in the movie, and when they did the story, the story for the record player, they just kind of omitted those characters altogether. Because I remember, who's gonna have this guy? How are they gonna tell this when this one guy dies and everything, and they just kind of didn't even introduce those two characters. So, but I guess they have to abridge it and everything, so that's probably part of it. But you can find that on I think YouTube. You can probably search like the black hole story, the story of the black hole or whatever, on like, it's one of those, either Peter Pan or Power Records or something like that. But yeah, those were cool. That was one that I had the toys and everything. But yeah, did I say that the Vincent the Vincent action figure I have right now, it goes for like $500. I think it was $400 or $500. I think it was even out of the box. So yeah, I don't know whatever happened to that little guy, but yeah, I'm sure I broke him. like most things. But um, oh man, so yeah, I would definitely recommend you go out and see this movie. And if you do, if you haven't seen it, let me know what you think. A lot of cool stars. Robert Forster. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he's been in a lot of stuff. He's like I guess kind of the leader, Maximilian Schell, who's he's plays the sort of the villain, the guy that runs that's on the ship that they discover, and then Ernest Borgnine, who younger fans not even really younger now, but like he played like if you remember from SpongeBob SquarePants, it was what was it, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy? He was Mermaid Man, and like I said, Roddy McDowall played the voice of Vincent, and Slim Pickens was Old Bob, and then Anthony Perkins, who obviously most people know as Norman Bates, was in it too. But yeah, so anyway, go out and see it. Good movie. I highly recommend it. Let me know what you think. And that's probably gonna wrap it up. But I've got some videos you guys can check out if you want. Should be back with another Fan Art Friday next week. Give me some suggestions on what you want to see. But until then, that is all.